Hello and welcome back to the forecast for episode 7.
7, lucky number.
7th episode.
Hey, retribution.
So coming away from Evansville this weekend with a couple points. So that's good at least.
Yeah.
We'll get into the analysis here. So Friday's game, the start of that game, starting off hot. Stochevsky pots one real early.
Yeah.
Puts him up 1-0 right out the gate. So that was a good start.
I like him on the first line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That line looked great. And then Evansville answered immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
I
hadn't even sat back down. I was like, oh.
Yeah, went to 1-1 right out the gate. But like you were saying, that top line of Matson, Stochevsky, and Sanders, the new guy.
Yeah, I like that. Hopefully,
looked really good.
I think he was just on a PTO, right?
Yeah, but they signed a couple guys off PTO for the road trip. And Sanders, the watching him skate is like how a hockey player should skate.
Yeah,
his feet just don't stop. There's just almost zero gliding in that guy's game.
Yeah, he's a really strong skater.
Yeah. And then they also got a power play in the first. Looked pretty good on the power play. Got a decent amount of shots. Sanders and Kirkendall, who was the other new ad.
Yeah.
Both showing they can contribute on the power play. Got some good pressure and shots. Couldn't capitalize, but did what they could.
I thought the power play looked really good this weekend.
Yep, and then the whole first definitely have been improving on their passing because there's a lot of smart passing, good pressure in the first. And then towards the end of the first, Fournier caught a stick right up in the face.
Yeah, nasty stuff.
Immediately dropped his gloves and stick and ran off. I'm assuming had to go get patched up because he came back with a bubble on.
Yeah,
had the bubble on for the rest of the weekend. And then also, again, at the end of the period, another power play, and again, a decent showing. Still couldn't capitalize, but they ended the first with 14 shots.
Yeah.
Which, considering we just had a game where we took 15 shots in the whole game, 14-1 is pretty good.
Yeah, it was good to see. It was like really lively. It was a fast period.
Right.
So.
And then so headed into the second in Friday's game, more good back and forth. I mean, this was a really entertaining game between both teams just because there was not so much like hemming and hawing and, ragging the puck.
Yeah, no, it was fast.
Taking a lot of chances. They gave up a bit more chances than they did in the first and the second, but I guess that's just a result of trying to push for the goal. Kirkendall, again, looking very good.
Yeah, and it's good to see him back. I liked his game when he played here before.
He's a heavy checking guy with a good shot, so it was good to see him shoot and check heavily. But overall, the second, just a lot of back and forth. Not much else, just trading chances back and forth.
Yeah,
and then
just like a good, fun hockey game.
Yeah, and then in the third as well, the same kind of thing.
And I'll tell you one thing, too, since we're on it. It was one of those games that never stops, and you look up and you're like, the period's almost over. I felt like it just started because the clock never stopped. It was back and forth all game. It was good, fun hockey. So it's kind of hockey I love to watch. So
absolutely. And then, so like I said, going into the third, a lot of the same stuff. Zook gets in a tangle up with Lindbergh.
Yeah, and that fight was kind of one-sided, but it was good. It was good for Zook to step up there. I know that Lindbergh's a tough guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gets handled, but hey, at least I think because I can't remember if he
answered the bell.
Yeah,
it was in response to
someone got smoked prior.
Was it a smoke or I thought it was like maybe a high stick? Yeah, I should have.
I can't remember.
It was such a fun, fast game. Like, it's hard to remember every little detail. Right. But it was in response to something, and he stepped up, and that was kind of like something I think we saw a little earlier in the year wasn't maybe happening as much. So, and that's good. That's great to see. Like, I feel like that culture in the locker room is building.
Right, and then another thing I noticed is the whole game, Evansville kind of was just swinging those sticks.
Yeah,
bringing the lumber all game,
missiles,
teeth, legs, hands. They were just hacking.
Yeah, scary stuff.
So definitely bringing the lumber, and I think that may have had to do with the play in the second game, but we'll get into that in a moment.
There was some fireworks there.
Yeah. So going into overtime, both teams initially with possession, looking kind of cautious, but as overtime went on, the Storm really got a lot of chances. Witzke hit a post.
Yeah. I think they had 2 posts in that overtime.
They did.
I recall.
They did. Yep. So they were getting a lot of good pressure, a lot of good chances. Just couldn't quite get the balance to close it in overtime. But
honestly, with what happened after that, I'm kind of glad that it didn't end in overtime.
Yeah, heading into the shootout.
That was a great one.
Heading into the shootout, Evansville actually scores the first shootout goal.
Yeah.
But Zook comes back and immediately ties it up.
5-hole, my favorite, do you recall?
And then almost gets the exact same goal. They were doing Olympic-style shooting, so he went again. And
Send out the guy who makes it, man.
Almost gets the same goal again. But then, of course, Leaf, after kind of...
I believe, baby.
After kind of flubbing the first attempt, just absolutely filthy moves.
Yeah, he's like sitting on top of the goal. He's like quack, quack, quack.
Oh, it was a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
So Leaf
got
buries
an
it in the
elite set
shootout.
of hands.
Leaf buries it in the shootout and gets the win for the boys the first night. Really good to beat Evansville.
There's a couple hundred guys in the league at any given time. If I was going to put any guy from the league in that scenario, that's who I would want.
Yeah, he's got an
unbelievable set of
repertoire
hands.
moves.
Yeah,
they're great. So we'll go ahead and follow that up with Saturday's game. So right out the gate, kind of setting the tone, setting the tone for the whole night. Gagnon just absolutely smokes some guy into the bench from behind.
Yeah.
So he gets a 5 and kicked. So
and you don't really see it out of that guy very much, and you just kind of wonder.
That definitely set the tone for the rest of the night.
I can't really see Coach tapping him on the shoulder and being like, "Go fucking kill something." That had to maybe have been personal. I hate to speculate, but
so going on a 5-minute penalty kill. They end up giving one up on the 5-minute, but hey, at least it's only one.
Yeah,
I mean it was a 5-minute kill. So.
Yeah, and spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's not the only 5 we're gonna get tonight.
Yeah.
So as the game goes on, new guy Sanders gets tripped on a breakaway, no call.
Oh it
was pretty blatant because you definitely see he's like completely gone, and all of a sudden you see poke and his foot just goes right out from under him.
Yeah, they had one like that last weekend too. I think it called either. I don't know. Maybe that's just if they get kind of tied up there, they're just not going to call that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean
that seems to be kind of the precedent. So
yeah, I mean honestly, in the first, they had a handful of breakaways in the first that just couldn't quite capitalize on.
I mean, something always happened. They got a stick on it, or you get hooked or tripped up to no call.
I mean, they were definitely opportune with their chances.
They weren't super clean, all the way gone breakaways, but they were like a step on a man break. So
yeah, because they didn't really have much offensive pressure during the first, but they did. They got breakaways.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think that's probably one of the things they do best.
Get them how you can get them, but
wait for the flub at the line, poke it and go. I mean, you got to say you see them score quite a bit that way.
Right. They got heavily outshot in the first. So unfortunately at the end, giving up another, going down 0-2. But to close out the period, this will become a
Guess
theme.
Who?
Stuchevsky, just a great backhand shot to close out the first. Ends up being 2-1 at the end of the first.
Nothing prettier than a top shelf backhand shot, no angle.
Well,
it was so nice.
Except for what will happen later. Going into the second, the penalties continue. So a lot of minors going on to kill again, and then going into the boards, Kosis hits a guy side to side, gives him a pretty good shoulder.
Yeah.
And just, he goes.
He got him off his feet
was
the problem. And at the angle and the momentum they were at, he went careening into the boards. It looked like he might have.
Yeah, I think he was out cold for a few seconds there because he was just lying motionless.
And you hate to see that. It sucks. And it's a scary moment, but he seemed all right. So. And I don't think it was a terribly dirty play, but I think it was probably the right call. Yeah. If you make a hit there. With that kind of force,
So there's another 5-minute major penalty, so brings our total to 2.
2 now.
And then again, the PK on a 5-minute kill gives one up because it's a 5-minute endless kill.
Yeah.
And so 1-3, and then something weird happens, and Dylan Fournier, never to be held off of the penalty sheet.
A ghost gets a phantom call.
Just unknown offsetting minors.
They were saying something to each other, and I don't want to get into what happened next, but I think they were really listening.
Yeah,
tonight. I think that it was. If I had to guess, it was about something that was said because they were just talking.
Yeah,
and then it was a. Did they take them both, or was it just the
one? Both.
Yeah, so they took them both, and I think it was just about what they were saying to each other. And I think that'll come into play in a little bit here as well.
So giving up one after going 4-on-4, so 1-4. And then the whole game was just really scrappy.
Yeah.
The thing is, it was a really, really chippy, scrappy game, but there was no fights. Not one fight. So the chippiness continued all game.
Well, and I think I said this last week, Evansville does not necessarily have like this big, we're going to fight, type of team. I know they have Hobbs, but that's like
they got
Dorsey.
Hobbs and Semino. Dorsey's more of a pest.
Too.
Dorsey's more of a pest than anything else.
Semino's a big fighter, but I think maybe he learned.
He don't want to go right now.
Yeah,
I think Semino is not. The fact that he's back so soon,
I thought that was a little
bit concerning, quite honestly. But
I know that there's still that old school mentality of not wanting to miss games, but what we know about head injuries and stuff now, it's so just I'm sure he's fine. But anyway, what I was getting at, they're not a big brawl out, drag it out type team, and it's funny that they engage in that type of behavior, and probably were never going to answer any bells. But so it was a super chippy game, and it was really physical.
Yeah, absolutely. And then towards the end of the second, we don't take a major, but we do take our second 10-minute misconduct of the night.
No, it was a game.
Oh, well, sorry. Yes, our second misconduct.
Game
misconduct. This is game misconduct this time around.
Yeah.
Brent gets tossed for derogatory language.
Or obscene gestures.
Or obscene gestures.
Whichever it fell into the category of.
So that was unfortunate.
And it was too bad, too, because unless you were there, I have no idea what happened. It goes to ad on my end, and I come back, and they're like, and Brent Moran is gone. And I was like, what?
Well, no, initially, because they initially put it up as a 5-minute penalty. I'm like, did we for real just take another 5-minute major? And then on the goalie, of all people.
Yeah. Okay, so I right before it cuts to ad, there's and Moran is jarring with the rep, and then it comes back, and he's gone. You can't just kick the goalie out. They're already that's right. Man, that was so funny. I got a good laugh out of that.
Ronnie comes in, going into the third, again trading chances. And then Evansville takes a shot. Ronnie gets 60% of it with his glove, and it doinks off and goes in the top. So it's 5-2. And then the rest of the game, Evansville just kind of choked it out.
Shoot, did we kind of jump past the goal of the year there?
Oops, my bad.
Yeah, I was really excited to talk about that.
Sorry, at the end of the second, Stoichevsky off what I think was a rebound.
No,
was it a rebound or what did it?
I don't know how.
The puck went in the air.
No admission. He caught it out of the air and hit it and backhanded it in.
Backhand bat about like nips level.
Yeah.
Just whap.
I don't know how he got it out of the air, but all I know is I saw him go like that and backhanded in. And I give him a perfect. He scored all 3 of the Storm's goals this weekend. Move him up to the first line, and he gives you 3 goals in 2 games. That's impressive.
He's just got such good hand-eye. The guy's got such good hand-eye and a ridiculous backhand shot.
He's a ton of talent too, and I can tell he cares.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've watched him close enough to know that I can see, that he cares. So I'm really happy for him. It was a great weekend he had.
Yeah, that segues into, I guess, our player of the week.
We could finish out the game yet.
Well, that's all I had for the game.
Okay,
just Evansville pretty much choked out the third.
Yeah.
But player of the week for Stoichevsky, absolutely. He had 3 goals on the weekend, 6 shots, and was a +1.
Yeah.
And had one of the sickest highlight reel goals I've seen in quite some time from a Storm player.
Right now, early candidate goal of the year. A couple of Leaf breakaways to compete with, but yeah. So, it's hard to go any other direction. You really can't.
Yeah.
I said my guy to watch was Brent, and definitely the first game he stole the show.
He was fun to watch in the second
game.
Yeah.
So, Brent would be my 1B there. So, right. But yeah, obviously Stoichev with the huge weekend, and great to see it.
I had down also as an honorable mention for player of the week, Zook. Zook was just
running
around
was all over,
all weekend, just laying in the guys.
He really earned his stripes this weekend.
Wreaking havoc.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
he had a great weekend too. And it's they come out, they have a great game on Friday. And not exactly the outcome you want on Saturday, but so much to grow from, and
they got
so
2
many
points.
good things.
They got 2 points, and then I was telling you as we were watching, even though they lost 2-5,
it felt like a good game.
Yeah, I really didn't mind their play. on Saturday. I really didn't.
Well, they spent like 14 minutes shorthanded. Like I think that score kind of computes. And I like if they're going to play like that, yeah, that's a game I'll take. That was awesome. It's a great game.
No, because depending on who you have as the official that night,
yeah,
sometimes that stuff will go on call.
I mean, probably going to still probably get both of those majors, but
right?
Those are just.
But
I think they just happened to be where they were at. Yeah, the twos though, that could have gone either way. Plus,
and then
Evansville got a lot that got overlooked, but
yeah.
Whatever, it's going to happen sometimes. But when you're the more physical team, like by far like that, you're probably going to take more of the penalties. So
right. So I mean, again, this is redundant again, but following up with the play of the week.
Oh shit! Yeah, maybe we should have waited.
I mean, no, it makes sense. This is the normal flow of things, and it just so happens that Storchevsky owned the third period of the game, the player, and the play of the week. The play of the week is Storchevsky's backhand bat.
Yeah, the backhand bat is it's going to be hard to compete with, but if there is a saving grace, and for me, it's Leafs winner.
Yeah, that was a pretty nasty
The backhand bat and the L is way up there, but the Leaf game winner, obviously.
That was pretty nice.
That's good. I believe, baby. You heard it here first.
So after those couple games this weekend, we'll go ahead and get into the standings check-in here.
Oh, my favorite.
So we're currently actually out of a playoff spot at the moment. We're in 9th, but we are 1 point behind Macon, who has played one more game than us.
Yeah.
We are also 3 points behind Knoxville, who has also played one more game than us. So,
and both of those teams are,
they're catchable.
Yeah,
they're catchable.
That's a good way to put it. Catchable. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's not. All three of the Knoxville, Macon, and us are just neck and neck for that 7, 8, 9.
I think three really similar teams too, and it's honestly it's going to make for good drama, good battle. See who gets in there.
It's going to be down to the wire for sure. Definitely going to make the games down the stretch here matter.
Yes, I know. So we need to keep filling up the barn and showing up in droves. We can, earn that playoff spot.
Well, and we play Peoria a lot heading out here. And Peoria's locked in already. They've already got a guaranteed spot.
Rest guys, call guys.
They don't have much to play for.
Play young guys, avoid injury. So
right. So we'll follow it up with the new roster additions and subtractions for this week.
A lot here.
A lot of movement. So we added Kevin Sadovsky.
I liked his game.
And then Devin Sanders.
Oh.
He was good. And then Davis Kirkendall makes his return to the Storm. Some pretty nice additions. Sadovsky and Sanders are on PTO contracts, so those are 3 games, I believe. And then Kirkendall we traded for future considerations from Knoxville.
Yeah.
We're going to miss future considerations. I'm not sure how we're going to recover from this trade, but we'll find a way.
The best part about future considerations is you never get to know the guy. You're like, you don't ever get to know what you
get too attached.
Yeah.
And then waived, unfortunately, Severi Savioki.
Really?
So Severi Savioki was waived.
Wow.
From what I understand, I don't think it had anything to do with skill.
No.
Or anything like
From
that.
First line to the GOAT, huh?
Yeah, I think.
Huh.
I
didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's crazy. I probably should have.
Yeah. So I don't think it had anything to do with skill. Well,
that's interesting.
And then suspended over this weekend. Panucci was out 2 games from the fight the other day.
Huge boo, dude. Huge boo.
And then also Van Newton and Pickford were out the first game.
Yeah, and then they both showed back up on Sunday and played. It's funny that they won when they weren't there because I thought that they both added a lot on Sunday. It was just tough set of circumstances.
Yeah. Also notably absent from this weekend was Whelan Parrish. He was a healthy scratch over the weekend. Not sure why. Could be sick. Could be I don't know. Just
hate to speculate on these things, but he didn't play, and they missed him for sure. Yep, especially on Sunday. Right. His legs make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And on IR was Dom Dumas, Cole Golka, Alex Hudson, and Nick Levesque. Again, the usual guys that have been on IR for a bit here. Still on call up is our boy Slim Smirnov.
Been so long.
So he's been with Adirondack for a good chunk of the season here.
He's got to be closing in on 20 games.
Yep. Adirondack is not in a playoff position currently, so we should look to be getting him back.
Wow, and I think about how sharp he might be after playing at that level.
Playing in the E for a long while, yeah. And then we also have Jordan Henderson, who's still with Tahoe. I'm not 100% that we're going to get him back. Tahoe is in a playoff spot, so.
Oh, that's good for them though, and good for him. Man, that's probably where he belongs. So.
And then we have our boy Reed Purpleluck, who is still up with Allen. Reed fought. I don't know if you saw. He fought Anthony Collins.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't follow the coast, but I know that name.
Yeah, he fought Anthony Collins over the weekend.
Jeez.
Got kind of, he took one pretty good off the head. I was watching on his social media, and he just has a video. He just says, ha, 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 and it's just a big horn.
Welt.
It is just a horn. It's like swollen out like 2 or 3 inches. Yeah, but Collins is an absolute animal.
Yeah, that dude is a monster.
Yeah, so.
I mean, if you want to make your name for yourself, if you want to make a name for yourself at that level, that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, good on him for dropping with Collins. Jesus, I wouldn't do that shit.
Oh, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't play that. Oh, no. You're crazy.
And then followed it up with the usual team suspension, Mr. Salak.
Yeah.
So we'll roll into the preview of the upcoming games.
Oh, good. Looking
this
forward to it.
We have 3-3 with Peoria over the weekend. Friday, Saturday is home down at the Mark, so that'll be nice. And then they got one away game on Sunday. Looking at Peoria's team, I mean, Peoria's good. There's no way around it. Skinner has a 2.67 GAA and a .914.
Yeah.
And Bostet, who's presumably kind of their starter at this point, has a 1.92.
They're totally now in a 1A, 1B situation with those guys now.
But it's he's got a 1.92 and a .915. So I mean,
they're about. I mean, they're both smaller and they're both about as good as each other. They do the same thing.
And I mean, you look at their system and you look at the numbers, and it's reflective of that. They don't face many shots.
Yeah. And the shots they do face are normally not very tough.
Yeah. So I mean, they look at the save percentages and only about 91%.
Yeah.
Whereas the GAAs are absurdly low, and I mean, that's just a result of the system they run.
Stopping 22 of 24 shots every night, and that is good. Don't get me wrong. I've seen guys not stop 22 of 24 all the time. So. But they have a great system. They can really choke you to death.
Yep. Going into their offensive production, they got Alec Bear leading the league in points with 64.
And that is what's so crazy is like how slow, and I don't even want to say articulate, but they play a really slow, methodical game, and yet they just have been lighting it up as far as the top of the standings go.
Yep.
Like
Bear's got 64 points. Ernst has 32 goals, leading the league. And Bear leads the league in assists with 42. 42 assists.
Yeah.
Is just crazy.
And, I don't know. And they're really hot right now. Like, he has, 25 points in his last, 13 games.
Yeah, I mean, they just beat Knoxville 7-5. So they scored 7 goals in the game.
Must be nice, to be able to give up 5 and feel comfortable. Like, that's how they play, though.
But, over this weekend we got 2 home games. And then the Storm usually bring it at home with those guys.
We have such a good fan base that it's so hard to not have that home field advantage.
Absolutely. But we'll follow that up here, reviewing our Nostradamus numbers.
Oh, my favorite. I love this game.
So, actually, over the weekend, I collected a whopping 0 points. I've been skunked for the first time.
I know how that goes.
AJ gets a +1, so he's closing here. I'm up 6-5 on you currently.
Yeah. Well, just got to stick with it, and I'm just going to keep the same game plan going forward. And
all right.
I'm confident about how it's going to go for me.
I mean, we'll move into the predictions here. So why don't you go ahead and start it off here?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a home game on a Friday night, so it's probably going to be a win. And then, boom, a Saturday night home game. Probably going to be a big turnout. Thinking win. And then there's going to be a little 3:15 game. Is it 3:15 or 2:15?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably 3:15 if I had to guess. It's an away game. Legs are going to be tired. Probably going to win the game.
So I'm going to go... man. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. And I don't like making these, but I want to win the Nostradamus contest here. I don't think we take Friday.
Oh.
I do think we take Saturday.
Oh, of course. Saturday night at the Marsh.
Oh, yeah. And then we don't have the best away record, so I think we might drop Sunday, too. But we will take Saturday.
I don't know. I mean, got a good feeling about it.
I hope I am proven wrong.
I hope you are too.
I absolutely hope I am proven wrong. But we'll follow that up with the keys to the game here.
Oh boy,
for this weekend.
Again, it's always the 3-3s against Peoria that are just brutal.
Right. For me, at least the first 2 games, I'm just going to count this as an overall one. Get the home crowd going in the first 2 games. Get it done early. Do something to get them going. Score 1, get in a fight, lay a big hit, do something to get
maybe
them going.
Maybe all 3,
Yeah. And then second key is going to be shots. Shoot the puck. Shoot the puck. We do better when we shoot the puck. It's just proven. In the games that we lose,
most teams do.
Well, in the games that we lose, we don't have very many shots. And then the last one, finish out the weekend strong. Don't leave it on a sour note.
Yeah.
Kind of that third game, finish out strong.
So my 3 exact keys from last week. So it'll be pretty easy to change it up, and gotta possess the puck against these guys. Like, they make it very hard to move the puck in their zone, and so they force a ton of bad shots. So it's like, I like the shots idea, but like getting clean shots. So possess it, move the puck, get clean shots. The physicality of the home games on Friday and Saturday are going to be paramount. Absolutely need to go out there and bully them around a bit. And I always like to finish strong on Sunday. Like, it's a Sunday game at their barn. Everyone's going to be really tired. Win the physical game.
All right. We'll follow that up with the player to watch for the weekend. For me, I'm actually going to pick our guest who's coming on here in a moment.
Yeah.
Johnny Witzke. He has hit an absurd amount of posts over the last few games.
Yeah, he's due.
And he had a couple goals also. So I think he's due for a big game. I think he's due for a first star over this weekend. So
that's a great prediction.
I'm going to take Witzke. And for you?
Presuming he's back, I like Whelan Parrish. I feel like he's got a weekend off. He's going to be feeling good. He's like such a thorn in the side of these guys. Like, I think he's going to have a nice big game.
Right, all right. So we will go ahead and cut to a quick ad break. This podcast is brought to you by Live Well Chiropractic and Wellness. They work with the Storm. Go where the players go. Go to Live Well. They're located over in Bettendorf, Iowa. And as a special for our listeners, if you go there and you tell them that we sent you and use the discount code FORECAST, not only will you get your appointment set up, you will also get a free Any Game Storm voucher.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So you can go ahead and snag that and also get yourself done up right. And this podcast is also brought to you by Fourdyce Fence and Deck. Go see our buddy Johnny for any of that kind of work that you need. He does incredible work, great in his field. So thank both those guys for helping out the forecast and supporting local hockey. And now we'll go ahead and follow that up with Johnny Witzke's interview.
At Live Well Chiropractic and Wellness, their staff specializes in more than just chiropractic care. Their services include acupuncture, cold laser, dry needling, infrared light therapy, massage therapy, cupping, ultrasound, and sports physicals. Just like they keep your Quad City Storm on the ice, they have what you need to keep performing, whether it be in the field, at work, or at play. From infants to adults, their skilled practitioners are there to take care of your whole family.
Go Storm!
Get this straight out. That thing moves around, so you can do whatever you want with it.
Okay, I think it's good. All right.
Good?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right, we'll start. Hello and welcome back to the forecast. We are here with Johnny Witzke of the Storm. Johnny, thanks for joining us here.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on,
Good to
man.
have you on.
It's good
Thanks
to see
again. And so I guess we'll just kind of open this up as just kind of like a get to know you things, like how old you are, where you're from, stuff like that.
So I'm 26. I'm from Bismarck, North Dakota, and I guess I grew up there my whole life. Moved to Canada to play some juniors after I graduated high school, and then went back to my hometown. They ended up getting what's called a club hockey team, ACHA, in my second year juniors, and just thought that was the best route for me to go continue on my hockey career, pay for or get cheap school. So decided to go do that and play there for 5 years, and pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to be here now and play for the Storm.
Yeah, it's great to have you, man.
Yeah. So I guess I had down here also, like, so how did you kind of get involved in hockey and any sort of hockey heroes growing up?
Yeah, so my dad, he moved to my hometown. They used to have, I think it was called the AHA. It's an old professional league, probably similar to what the Federal Hockey League and the SPHL is.
Right.
Okay.
He moved to my hometown now to play for a team, and I guess his team wasn't too great. I think they actually disbanded after the 1 year, but he ended up staying in Bismarck. I met my mom, and so for to have a dad from playing hockey, his life, like it just kind of gets passed down, and he's from the near Toronto area, and so like he's got a wealth of hockey knowledge that he kind of helped pass down to me, and he was my coach all growing up, and there's no doubt that I probably wouldn't be the player with how much he pushed me and coached me and taught me the game, that I wouldn't be the player I am today. So major kudos to him, and
Well, that's awesome, man. That's really sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Kind of keep it in the family,
Mm-hmm.
And then so you started out your junior hockey, looks like in the NAHL with Bismarck, yeah?
Yeah, so I played 2 years of high school, my freshman, sophomore year, and then going into my junior year, I got the opportunity to try out for the Bismarck Bobcats, which is my hometown team. I was just honestly excited to get the tryout, and after the main camp, the coaches brought me in. They said they wanted to keep me around, so it was kind of a big decision to go up and try playing juniors at 16. I was one of the youngest guys in the league, and wasn't the biggest or strongest, but I think it definitely helped in my development in being able to play at a kind of higher pace. And then ultimately it didn't really work out, where I decided to go back and play high school my senior year, just to go be with my friends and still enjoy the high school life. And I know there was going to be opportunities for me after high school, so I just decided to go back and play, and ended up my senior year having a good year and getting recruited up to Canada, and had the probably best 3 years of any junior experience you can have playing for the Estevan Bruins.
Yeah, I had that down next. So what was it like going up north? Just because it's just slightly across the border up there in Estevan, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a far drive. It was about 3.5 hours only.
There you go.
Living in a completely different country. But I had three of the best years of my life. I'd probably compare what the leagues, like how the league is played, to somewhat what the SPHL is. It's very gritty. It's very tough.
Okay. On
any given night, the best player on the opposing team is going to punch your face in. So you had to keep your head up. At a early age, or at 18. You get exposed to that, and I think it was great to play that way. You talk about Canadian hockey. I think that kind of defines it.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So I guess during the juniors and like the time in the NAHL, are there any players that you played with on those teams that you're currently playing against?
Yeah, so I remember Piotrowski he was on my team with the Bobcats. He's now on Peoria again.
No kidding.
Yeah, we played together for a little bit, and then there's gonna be some names that's 10 years ago now, so I can't really remember that far back, but. I have a good buddy. He's also from North Dakota. Plays for Peoria. His name is Michael McChesney.
Oh,
Grew up playing against him, and then was really fortunate to have him on my team for 3 years up in Estevan. Yeah, so we played together up there. And then guys on Evansville, there's a couple, Simoneau, Bronson Adams, played against those guys. McGregor Sinclair, he's with Birmingham. So it's kind of fun to it's fun to see those guys again. And I didn't play against them a lot in college, just from where I played, but being back and playing against them, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always interesting going back and kind of looking at the juniors rosters because you got guys like, I mean, especially like if you look at like some like the major college guys or like someone who played in like major Canadians, they got like NHL guys that they just like, oh yeah, like played with those guys, or like there's guys in the league like you said that are, oh yeah, I played with those guys like years ago. So I guess after the junior hockey, you go to University of Mary where you kind of light it up.
Yeah, I had a good career there.
Yeah, so you got back-to-back championships with them, yeah?
Yeah, so my freshman year was the COVID year. We were ranked, I think, second going into the national tournament, and right before the tournament started, COVID canceled it. My sophomore year, my second year, we actually, it was weird because the ECHA normally does like a one big tournament where all the locations are hosted at one spot.
Right.
For that tournament, or for that year, they elected to kind of not disband, but like move the tournaments separate, so you could have, like there's limitations on how many people could gather still and whatnot. And you had to find locations that allowed
maybe some regional things.
Yeah. So instead, my team put in a bid because we were pretty, with COVID going on, North Dakota was pretty, just kind of shook it off, I guess. And our school put a bid out, and we actually got it. So my sophomore year, when we won our national championship, we actually hosted that tournament. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
so you got to do it at home.
Seeing the rink completely packed for that national championship game, we actually beat Iowa State too. So
there you go. Well,
yeah, we had some good battles with them in college, and then my sophomore year or my junior year, third year, we won in triple overtime over Florida Gulf Coast. So I mean, that to go back to back down in St. Louis, that's really crazy. Memorable as well. And then my fourth year, we kind of lost on a tiebreaker. We had to pull our goalie to go to the semis and end up losing in overtime with the empty net, which is always a bummer. But
that's tough.
And then last year, I just wanted to return, and my school recently made the jump. We were ACHA Division II. We jumped up to Division I.
Oh, wow.
And it's definitely, better competition. You guys like Minot State, University of Jamestown, all the top teams, they're getting junior A players to go down and play for them.
Right.
So just the level of competition was...
No, I've heard like a lot of really good things about the ACHA.
Yeah, it's definitely improving. I think
especially at the Division I level, like.
Yeah, guys like UNLV just beat Denver this year.
I saw that, yeah.
And granted, Denver probably, they'd play them over Christmas. Denver's, I think, had a few guys out for the World Juniors and whatnot. Like, it's going to happen, but they're still competing,
and the UNLV guys probably playing, like, the games of their lives and shit. It's a big game for them. It's just like a walk in, or another day at the office for the other guys. But, yeah, no, that's like what that says about that level is they're there and they're really competitive.
Yeah, and I think ACHA has definitely got a chance to keep improving. There's a podcast, or it's like increasing its following. There's a podcast called The Hockey House, or the Hockey House podcast. They're doing a great job of promoting what ACHA is, and honestly just giving more opportunities to guys to continue playing. Whether you want to go to school and focusing on school and still play the sport you love,
right?
It gives them that opportunity. So.
Right, absolutely. And then you wore the C at University of Mary. Yeah. What year did you get the C? Did you just wear it for your senior? Or
I wore it my fourth and then fifth year.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's quite the honor.
Yeah, it was, and I got it kind of passed down from a guy who was captain there for 4 years.
Wow.
Zach Garrett, and I wouldn't say I'm much of a vocal leader. I definitely had some guys around me that helped. I like to kind of try to play hard and use my game as an example of being a leader, but. With Zach, like he was a guy who, just always positive. And you like looking at him, like he's a great dude and whatnot. You wouldn't think he puts up the points he does. He had some magical mitts and just eyes in the back of his head. It was always a pleasure to play with him.
That's great.
So out of college, like you were saying, you were going to go to the Railers camp. So what was getting that call like? Like just straight out of college? Like were you expecting any calls from other teams or anything like that? Or
well, to be completely honest, I probably, if Coach Toporowski hadn't called me, or I kind of talked to Brian Rothenberger before they hired Coach Topper. Before, because I have a connection with a guy or coach I played against quite a bit. He knew Brian, so he gave me my information. I reached out and Brian actually worked in my hometown for a little bit. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started talking to him. But yeah, but I probably wouldn't have played hockey this year had the Storm not reached out. Just for the fact I didn't really know what the Federal Hockey League was like. I knew the SPHL was better.
Yeah. Man, the Fed, you're flipping a coin. You could be on one of those established teams, like the River Dragons, and even Zydeco's getting up there now.
Yeah.
But then you got teams that don't have a home rink.
Yeah.
And you got teams that aren't paying their guys.
Yeah, I just didn't want to take that risk. I guess I got my college degree. And
Smart.
I kind of had an opportunity possibly lined up to be coaching as well. So, I mean, I could have taken that route, but I ultimately got the opportunity to talk to Coach Topper, watch some film, and liked what he saw, and was pretty fortunate to sign me into main camp or training camp. And then later, probably like a month after I signed or so, Coach Topper, with his relationship with Worcester, being from coaching Worcester State and living there,
right.
he got me into Worcester's camp, which when I talked to the coach at the time, Bob Duraney, I was ecstatic. I was super, super, excited.
That's the E, man.
Yeah,
That's
not
awesome.
many.
That's a huge deal.
Not many club guys get the opportunity. It's not something I really thought of. I was just happy to be signed here and come in ready to work and play here. And ultimately it didn't work out where they got guys sent down before I even got there. So I was, like I said, I was ecstatic to come here, and I think being here for the 2 weeks of Coach Topper's training camp really set the tone for my conditioning level for the start of the season. And
looped you into shape.
Yeah, definitely.
He seems like he's a tough guy.
I mean, yeah,
works you pretty hard.
He works as hard, but it's honestly what you need.
Yeah.
And when you if you're not out of shape, you're not going to be able to play those big minutes, or you need your guys late in game situations. Like if you're gassed, you're just creating you're opening up the opportunity for the other team to have a better chance to win.
Yep.
So
playing for Quad so far this year, so it's your first year pro. So what's it like playing for Quad? What do you like about it? And how has it been kind of acclimating to minor pro life?
It kind of reminds me the minor pro life kind of reminds me of juniors in a way.
Yeah.
You still get your downtime. Part of that, and I kind of want to, this year being my first year, I kind of want to see what it was like, and I've really enjoyed my time since I've come down, and it's been a great group of guys. It's always hard tough meeting new people for the first time, but.
Right.
As soon as I walked in the locker room, kind of felt welcome, felt respected, felt appreciated for the way I played, and I guess you can't really pass that down as anything negative. I think being in Quad City has been a special treat to me, and like I said, I probably wouldn't have been playing hockey this year.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome because I remember watching when you got signed. We keep track in the summer when people get signed. I was just looking at the numbers that they had posted of your college statistics. I was like,
It seems like he's got some upside.
Yeah, I mean offensively, that's always been kind of a part of my game at high school, juniors, and even college.
So have you always played defense? Or
yeah, I've always been a defenseman.
You're very gifted offensively. I almost wondered if it seemed like maybe you'd transition to defense later, but
no. My dad was, like I said, my dad was my coach. He was a defenseman, and early I did at an early age play for it, but at an early soon after, my dad just put me back at defense because he saw how well I could probably see the ice. And honestly, at a young age, if you put a guy back on D, it just gives him a little bit more room to get his wheels going. And
it's funny how your game fits the new modern game, the slick feet, the quick hands. I feel like there's a dramatic shift towards that kind of defenseman in today's game, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I know. Defenseman back in 2000s, 90s,
6'5",
6'5", big,
crushing dudes.
Yeah, just
fucking tractors.
The guys like Cale McCarr now, Quinn Hughes,
oh my goodness,
Lane Hudson, those guys are to me are really fun to watch. My favorite player growing up was Duncan Keith.
Oh,
he was
the in between ground. He was slick, but he was also tough. Like
he was tough.
He could do both pretty well.
You watch his like how he played defense. Like he was so smooth, and when he got the puck, I remember the 2015 playoffs when he won the Conn Smythe. Like
those Blackhawks teams,
those were unreal, dude.
Yeah, so that's who I kind of try to model my game after. Is kind of a guy. He wasn't the biggest player either, so just try to model my game after him.
I don't know, you're pretty slick, man. Like you do a lot of things that are like.
I appreciate it.
So as far as NHL teams, so you Blackhawks fan then?
No.
Yeah.
No, I got the unfortunate passing down of being a Maple Leafs fan too.
Oh,
hey,
fuck off.
Yeah, buddy, let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been most popular hockey team in the world.
Yeah. I told him I was just going to be repeating. We'll fast forward through this bit. The last time we had Paducci on, we were talking. So I started liking the Maple Leafs because growing up, I didn't get into hockey until I was like 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to play the NHL games with him, not knowing anything about hockey, whatever. And then finally, at about 15 or 16, he got me to go out to the pond, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like this is fucking awesome."
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, "All right, I guess I'll like hockey now." And I was like, "Oh, what team do I like?" And I was like, "Well, I always am the blue team on NHL, so I guess I'm a Leafs fan." Keep in mind, this was in 2011.
Okay. Yeah, tough times.
Not the best times back in the Phil Kessel, Dion Phaneuf days.
Oh,
no. Yeah,
Andrew Raycroft in that. Like,
I mean, I'll tell you what though, they were fun to watch because they had that line of like they had Orrin, McLaren, and Brown on the team at the same time.
Yep,
that was absurd.
they had a tough stretch. I remember in like 2004. It's like in my mind, Jeremy Roenick scoring in the second round and eliminating them.
Yeah.
I don't forget. And then when they had that collapse in 2013, I think that's the first time I swore in front of my dad.
I was watching that. I was in college at the time. I was just sitting there, like in my dorm, just watching that. And I was just like, I just stunned. I didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't make a single sound. I'm just sitting there like. That happened.
Yeah,
both of those teams.
Still living with it too. They're 0-7 in their last 7 game 7s or something. 7 in a row they've lost. So
whenever they finally won that playoff round, I was like, "That's good. We're good."
Like play the Panthers, who you
guys did want the Panthers, if I recall. But, so you said something interesting. You said it got handed down to you.
Yeah,
this curse.
Well,
go into that.
Well, my he's from Toronto and just grew up a Maple Leafs fan. I kind of was just he doesn't really he thinks hockey's a little too soft now for his liking. He was the tough guy for when he played. So
there you go.
Guys don't skate through concussions anymore.
He's got his own highlight reels of him slashing guys, trying to break guys' wrists. So I'll leave it at that. But he was a Maple Leafs fan, so I always just cheered for them. And I guess there's like a picture my mom gave my dad for his first Father's Day was me in a Leafs jersey. So
that's awesome.
That's sweet. I like that.
But yeah, so I guess speaking of the Leafs thing, so Doug Gilmour's kid, you just played.
Yeah.
The weekend. Isn't that freaking wild?
It is. I think he's my age. I never played him at all growing up. I want to say he's Canadian, so that's probably why. Right. But no, it's pretty unique.
That's crazy.
No, he's a good player.
He's got a hell of a shot.
Yeah, he's producing well, and he's a big reason why Evansville's having a good year. So. Playing against him is definitely a treat. And I played against a lot of old NHLers kids. I guess I've done Team USA development camps and stuff like that. So I played against a lot of guys, and it's unique and
getting to play against those guys. Yeah. So I guess another question I just had on the kind of a side note. So what is your preferred jersey number, or is it actually 17?
No, so
I just kind of had that note. I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that.
It's always kind of changed. I'll say that. Yeah, in high school, I was originally given as a freshman.
Handed a number.
I was given 36. I was
that's a rough number.
Yeah, I was given 36, and then
sweet.
As soon as I made varsity off of I never played a JV hockey game. I got handed a different number. I got to choose a different number, I guess, once I made the varsity team. So I chose 25, which is
a sweet number.
A little better, yeah. And then when I started playing juniors for the Bobcats, I was number 3. And then
single digits is good.
Yeah, I went back to 25
right.
my senior year, and then number 3 all throughout my juniors in Estevan.
Oh, very cool.
And then college, someone was wearing 3, so I went to 27, and then wore that for 5 years. And then here they didn't have the option for number 3 or 27, so I went with 17.
Yeah,
so.
17 looks slick, man. I like it. It's a good
It suits you now.
I think 7 and 3, like if you have those at the end of your number, it's pretty slick.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of getting into like the mental side of the game. So like, how do you like keep that same level of confidence coming out from like a really hot college career? Keep that same level of confidence and swagger that you had at that point, because I feel like here, when you have that same level of confidence and swagger, is when you're at your best.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that there mentally?
Yeah, I'm a big mental preparer. Like, you know, a lot of guys' pregame routines can be a little different. Some guys like to be super loose, super loud, play sewer ball. Like for me, I like to do my own thing, kind of go off of my own, be quiet. I'm always good for like a few jokes and stuff like that. Like keep it light still, but no, I like to like kind of just go up in the stands and try to visually prepare yourself.
Just like lock in.
Yeah, like you know, like you
watch the game that's about to happen, and
like so you go out there and you just gotta use your imagination of like creating scenarios of what you're gonna be doing on the ice. Like if you get the puck here, like guy coming in on you, like what are your options? And then like when it comes to the game, it just feels a little bit more natural.
Sure.
That's pretty big for my confidence. And yeah, I mean it can be tough. Your confidence can get knocked, throughout the game. Like, you could be playing your best game and one thing happens and it can go away. So you just gotta kind of have a quick memory. You just gotta forget what happened. Sure. It's kind of like riding a roller coaster. You can't get too high, can't get too low. You want to go smooth sailing right down the middle. So
right. So I guess again, kind of back to the life for minor pro. So are you in the apartments with the guys then?
Yep.
So what's the environment like in there? Is it just kind of like everyone pretty close, or?
Yeah, I mean most rooms are generally open to guys. I mean, some guys have a little more private life, which is fine. But like I live with Ronnie Summonkangas.
Cool.
And,
no shit.
Yeah, he's always constantly just hanging out in the living room, so it's always easy to go and talk to him about something or watch a movie. And other guys, like maybe after games or something, like just to kind of like cool down, we'll go kind of like to someone's apartment room and just kind of talk about the game, and just sometimes not even talk about the game, just kind of forget about it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Try to move on. So no, yeah, it's been a blast living in those apartments.
So another thing I had. So you've had a decent share of dust ups this year so far with a lot of shoving. So I'm guessing fighting might not be too much part of your game, yeah?
Yeah.
Because there's been a few times where it's like, you're like,
I know.
There.
It's not that afraid. Like you gotta know your role on the team.
Absolutely.
So like, for me, if like a guy who doesn't play much on their team tries to come up and wants to start something with me, then it's not a fair
Can't
trade.
take a bad trade.
Yeah, well, especially when you got like guys like Mo and Cole out there, like you're like, I gotta do that.
And guys know their role. I think there'd be a time and place for it. Like I fought in juniors. I try to make it once every year.
Just get one in for good measure.
But it hasn't happened yet. Which if you ask my dad, he'd probably
scoff at you.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was
son
his
of mine's
role.
not going to fight.
Talking with guys on the team though too. Sometimes you got to stick up for yourself, and I'm not afraid to get in there. It's just you got to know what's when to do it.
Absolutely,
and who you're doing it against. Sometimes it's always the guys who are 6'5" who
coming up and
around.
stirring shit.
Or the guys who are more experienced fighters that probably shouldn't.
Shouldn't do absolutely,
it, so.
I guess another note here is, do you know how many do you keep track of the number of like posts and bars that you hit?
No,
good lord, man, you could have like 15 goals this year almost.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's getting up there, especially recently. I think of we talked about the Peoria goal. It's probably been like 4 or 5 since Christmas, which is
just like a hair
it's tough.
away.
I know.
All of it. So close.
Yeah, it's part of the game though. Just a couple inches one direction and it's a goal. So I guess that's a big thing with the confidence too. Like if those chances stop coming, though, like that's when it's a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah,
I'm getting chances, and right now it's not going in, but hopefully,
I mean, you're this freaking close. We just recorded the weekly recording, and I had you down as my player to watch for next week because I'm like, God, he's got to get something going here. It's like he's so close.
Yeah, hopefully it comes soon here.
Right. And then I guess I had just one last note here before we go into the socials questions. Mm-hmm. Did you know that you currently hold the franchise record for most goals and most points as a rookie defenseman for the Storm?
Didn't know that. No.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Both those
hey,
records.
I had to dig deep for that one. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
And you're only 3 assists away from the rookie record for assists. You're also 3 goals away from the franchise record for most goals by a D-man, rookie or otherwise.
Okay.
So you're 3 goals out from holding that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
I mean, it's been an exceptional season. I mean, you put it in with ease, and
I appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure to watch, honestly.
Yeah, and going back to your role, my role is to try to produce on the back end. That's what my talent is, and pretty fortunate that I've had the year I've had.
Yeah.
And, it's not always gone the right way for us as a team, but in order for us to win games, I gotta be able to produce like that. And so,
absolutely,
no, it's pretty cool to see that, and hopefully I can get some more goals here. I guess end the year.
That record, you're only 3 away.
Yeah,
you're only 3 away.
A lot of time left. So.
Well, one hot night and you got it.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll follow it up with some socials questions. We posted out to our Facebook and Instagram, just kind of open it up to any of the listeners, like ask anything, and we'll kind of throw it out there. Mm-hmm. So we have Selena Hansen, who I know you know.
Oh yeah.
So she asked the favorite thing about playing here. I guess is the first one. She's got a handful, so I'll just roll through them.
Okay, favorite thing. Yeah, I mean, I just like the Quad Cities overall in general. I'm coming from North Dakota, where you don't got a lot to do. I think we Topper kind of makes the joke of me living on a farm. I live right in the middle of a city. I live in Bismarck, but there's still not a whole lot to do. I mean, you can go out and just find something here. But sometimes it can be a little boring, but the nightlife here is definitely a little bit better. Just a lot more restaurants.
God, Bismarck sounds brutal. You are not talking it up.
No, I love my hometown. It's nice and quiet, and it just gets boring. So like here, you can. I'm not much of a planner, but you can go find something
get
to do.
Something, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about around here. We talked about it last time with Nick. Is just like you get a lot of stuff that you get with bigger cities without like all the crap you get with bigger cities too,
no doubt.
You can get around here pretty easy, especially with the highways going around it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I think North Dakota's people drive better though. I'm kind of
fair enough.
Trust me,
fair enough. It's brutal area here.
I'm good to this, but yeah, I mean,
I drive for a living. It's scary.
I mean, he delivers packages, so he's dealing with that constantly. And then, I mean, it's bad over here, but when you cross that river over there, man, it's lawlessness.
It's a little different. It's a wild, wild west.
Then I guess one more for her. If you didn't play pro hockey, is there any other sport that you would have wanted to pursue?
So I mean, I played baseball too growing up. Big into. I loved pitching just because I felt like that was the most competitive position you could play. It's always just you versus the batter. I'm pretty big on that, even so much so I play slow pitch softball back home in the summer with my buddies, and
there you go.
Nobody wanted to be the pitcher, so I'm up there being the pitcher.
There it is.
I instead of they have like those big fancy helmets for pitchers like in slow pitch, and I just wear my old hockey helmet, and it's got a bubble on it,
a couple of dents.
There you go.
So I would probably say baseball. I really enjoyed it, and I don't think I could play 162 games. That would be
I don't know how they do that either. Double headers.
So
much.
I've heard some stories. We got some Jacob Gagnon, his brother, who's actually drafted by the Dodgers.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
Okay,
so
cool.
I guess he's got some story. I've been talking to him a little bit because I think it's his first year there. So hearing the stories
that's
about
way cool.
Yeah.
What a hit by Gags last night, though.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of a hot start there. Yeah. But next up we have Kelly Schwarzkopf asking about chirps. So what's the best chirp you've heard this year that you can divulge without going too deeply into it? Like,
I don't know. I'm not one to chirp a whole lot. I mean, I'll take it more than I dish it. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do it often. I know BMO's got some good one-liners.
Yeah,
he had a great one-liner last night.
Yeah.
Oh man,
BMO is definitely up there. Foreign says some funny stuff throughout the game too.
That's not a shocker.
I sit right by the penalty box, so I get a front row seat to a lot of Foreign's little fun that he has in there yelling from the box.
No, but I mean, it's part of the game. It's just not really a part of my game. And like, if something's said to me, I generally forget about it pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right,
that's all it is. Just talk anyway.
Right. So we got the other Hansen, Tucker Hansen.
Yeah, he went out there. I saw him on the flow.
He did go to Evansville. Yeah.
Yep.
That's quite the ride, man.
Your thoughts on the movie Cars?
Okay.
I mean, it's growing up, it was a great movie. I haven't watched it in forever. I'll say that, but I was actually kind of a fan of our country themed jerseys.
Oh, were you?
I don't know if it was the total playoff of it, but like Rascal Flatts, country music, they were coming to town. Cars is like has one of their probably their most well known song.
Yeah.
So like. I don't know if that was kind of like the playoff. That's how I kind of interpreted it, but I actually like the logo and design. I mean, some guys weren't a fan, but I was. I like the all black jerseys.
I liked it too.
All black is always a slick look, though. And then we have, let me check here. We have Becky Scutt on Facebook. So how do you guys feel about playing ex-teammates? Is there a different kind of vibe that goes on when you know you're playing someone that was on the team?
Oh, yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Or is it just kind of depend on the game?
Yeah, I mean, there's only been a handful, I guess, since we have. I mean, a lot of our guys went to Pensy, so we'll play them probably coming up.
I was about to say.
But like we played Jake Vaughn. Like I only knew Jake for about a month or so, however long he was here, and I mean, playing him, it wasn't really a big deal. I think it's more so like the guys. The old junior guys I played against or played with.
Right.
Like, I think we have kind of like a mutual respect for each other. Like, don't do anything stupid. And we won't do anything. So, I mean, you're still going to play hard against them. And I know Ches is still one of my good buddies. And I think it was last Peoria game he crushed me. And it's part of the game. So I respect it. You can be buddies off the ice, on the ice. You're playing for your team. You're trying to win the game. So.
You get him back. Mm-hmm. It's a long season, right?
It is. Yeah, we have what, five more with Peoria.
Yep. So
that's the fun of it. That's the fun of the game sometimes.
And then we have Chelsea Greenwald on Facebook asks, "What's your favorite way to pump up before a game? Is there any favorite songs or rituals you have for pregame?"
Yeah, not much. I mean, I listen to music. I think that's more so just kind of. how my mind works. I feel like it's just constantly like thinking. Like I would probably describe myself as an overthinker. So I just kind of like, yeah.
What? Oh, nothing.
I kind of just put in headphones and it doesn't really preference, like the music doesn't really.
Just kind of sound.
Yeah, it's just kind of sound and like it's just kind of clear your mind a little bit to help you focus. But yeah, I mean, I have the same pregame routine. Usually we do like a short meeting before, and then right after. I'll either have my stick tape before or after. I'll do that quick, and then I usually go up into the stands and, like I said, visualize the ice, and then catch me warming up. I like to be on my time with my warm up. If we're at home, it's for sure like 5:35. I'm
dead right
starting to get my warm up done. So
there you go.
Yep.
And then Josh Heilman on Instagram asks. So I guess in this case, because you just said it doesn't matter, but if you had to pick top 3 hype songs for pregame.
Murder on the dance floor.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have a top 3. Whatever is going on in the locker room, like I'm not a big rap music guy,
right?
Or hip hop. Like I like that kind of like more techno, like there's it's called the Big Booty Mix. I don't know if you ever heard that. I mean, it's just kind of like a mashup of a lot of popular songs, and it's got like they kind of change the beat to it, and I'd say that's probably like my favorite. Like if I'm in the locker room with all the guys, like you can just see some guys like bouncing around. That's like what I mean by keeping it loose a little bit.
Right, and then it counts as 3, right? Because it's a bunch of different songs.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of different songs.
And here's an interesting one. So on the team, best dressed and worst dressed, and you can't say yourself.
Yeah. Oh boy.
He's catching some flack today.
I mean, yeah, I would probably be up there for worst dressed for sure, but we'll go best dressed. Maybe like a guy like Nick Levesque. He's always got some fancy clothes. Tommy always wears jeans to the rinks. So
there you go.
Give it to him too. He's always looking good, even on practice days. You know, he keep it professional. He always says so. Those two guys are definitely two of the better dressed. Or, you know, probably the best looking guy in the team, Cole Golka, is always looking
cool.
nice. So, worst dressed. I mean, I remember when T-Mac was here, he'd always wear, everywhere he went, he would wear his Birkenstock, so he kind of got ripped for that.
Who's that?
Thomas
McGuire.
I've been talking to him a decent amount because I do cards.
Yeah.
So I did some for the Zydeco guys.
Sickest edges. Dude. His edge work was unreal. He was so good on his skates.
A lot of mohawks.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll get a kick out of that. I'll have to tell him about that.
Yeah, maybe I'll just throw some shade on Ronnie. Ronnie's he's fine, I guess.
He's got that turtleneck.
He's gonna put your hand in warm water tonight.
Yeah.
And then Money Moran memes on Instagram asks craziest college story, hockey or otherwise.
Oh, nice.
Craziest. I probably shouldn't say some of them.
Craziest college story that you can divulge on the podcast that will not get anyone in
safe
trouble.
for work.
I mean, I've been a part of. I played hockey for a long time. College stories. After we won the national championship, in the neighborhood that we lived in, it wasn't the most pleasant, but it was a Tuesday night, and after we won it, we're all outside. Just celebrating.
Probably, it was pretty happy.
It was like 3 a.m. and people were
pretty orderly and
people were coming outside and yelling at us like, hey, "Congratulations, but we got to work tomorrow."
And y'all are just
yeah. We had the champagne going, and we brought the trophy in, and it's a tough trophy. I mean, it's like a really big trophy, but to try and drink something out of it, it had it almost like flower edges. How I describe
it.
You
gotta kinda
so half the time you take a drink, it just
all over your chest. Yeah,
but no,
it's still pretty sweet though to get to say you did it. Like,
oh yeah, like we would go to the bar and they'd actually like the people who were at the bar would fill up or pay for it to fill it up. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I guess the last one was just a comment. We had Project Unicorn 03 on Instagram. Just said, great game in front of 8100 for the other night.
That's sweet, man.
That was probably the most I've ever played in front of. And, we wanted, obviously it's not the season we all expected. I mean, you go into this season with different expectations. And, I'll say like the guys, like we're not wanting this to happen, but we're going to do our best to keep pushing through it because, if you make it in the playoffs, anything can happen.
And I mean, this roster's got so much talent on it.
We do.
It's ridiculous.
And we're missing some guys still. And this last weekend we didn't have Will, and he was out. So if we can get everybody healthy, get everybody in the lineup and buying into their roles, it's no doubt that we can be a dangerous team. I don't think
absolutely.
Team like Peoria, we matched up well with them this year. Where it's sitting, we could match up with them in playoffs, and
that'll be fun.
We don't get to play Huntsville, unfortunately, or Roanoke as much as Peoria does. So I mean, one weekend can't really define your season against them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's another note. There is just like the record against Peoria this year has been a lot better than past years.
Yeah.
And especially kind of opening up, beating them was a really big deal. But I guess that's all. I mean, and also on the 8100 note, boy, that place is electric when you get 8100 people in there.
Oh, it was a blast, and the way that who we're playing, and then the way we came back and won. Like we want to create more hockey fans here in the Quad City area, and to hopefully I've heard stories about old Mallards games and how that would be like a regular like Wednesday night or something like
It
that.
was
So
absurd.
Yeah,
I mean, if we could like try to create that atmosphere again, it's greatly appreciated by us players because it's a lot of fun to play in front of that. But also, like, you go to Huntsville or Roanoke where they sell out their
every game.
rinks, it's definitely an advantage to the home team. Then
Oh,
it's
no kidding.
especially when they you can get a goal, like the fans get all fired up, and it just creates
The
this
place
extra,
just rumbles, you know?
It creates this extra little energy like amongst the players. It might not show it, but you feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like you were saying, we were like 5 and 6 when the Mallards were here. We went to games though during that time, and it was just ridiculous. You'd have 9,000 people out for a UHL game on a weekday.
Yeah,
like it was just like, and I mean, boy, it's.
I just thought that's like what minor league hockey was.
Yeah,
I assumed like every team that we played, like that was
what
was good.
That was the standard.
I didn't quite realize. Yeah, no, it took a long time to. I remember going to a Mallards game when I was like probably like 21 or 22, and they were in the coast, and there was like 800 people there.
Okay.
Yeah, I sat where I wanted, and like walked in, and we walked up to the. What do you call it? The concessions, and there's nobody in line anyway. So that took a long time to realize just like how special it was, and it'd be great to see it again. You know?
And I mean, doing that like you were saying, doing that, getting the comeback win in front of that huge crowd. I feel like anytime we do those big union nights or have those people in there, we retain at least like 10% of what comes in, and they keep coming back. So it's a great way to build it back up in this area because the potential's there. We saw it.
Yeah,
like, we know it exists.
Yeah, it's the consistency. We still gotta find that. And like coming from this weekend's games, like big win on Friday. We gotta find a way. And I think regardless of what happened with the start of the second game, like you can't change how you're gonna play. Yeah,
I still thought it was a pretty good game. I know it
yeah,
didn't go the way you want, but like
I
thought like everyone played really well. I don't really think.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
the final score is not as indicative. I mean, I think the guys played with an edge and maybe like bit in the butt, but like otherwise it was great. It was a great game. I like appreciate seeing like the fire and the competitiveness of that game.
Sometimes you'll watch a game and it's like, didn't play well that game, but that's
wasn't one of those.
No,
I watched them. Like I really don't mind. I know like we lost, but like I don't mind how they played. Like
it was like gamblers, it's gambling a little bit. You're gonna play a little harder, and it might give you an advantage, it might be a disadvantage. So it was a great game. It's great, good weekend. It was a good weekend.
Right. Yeah, just getting 2 points, and I think we might have fallen behind Macon now, but
1 point. So only by one, and we have a game in hand on them. So.
Yeah, the thing is, like we can't rely on other teams to help us out at this point. In the playoff push, like we gotta, take accountability for ourselves, and we control our own destiny at this point. Like you gotta find a way to get a point or two. Hopefully 2.
Most nights.
Most nights, and
it's well put.
Yeah, and I mean Peoria is going to be a huge key. I feel like
I'm excited
if the team can figure out Peoria in this last bit here.
Yep,
it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think we got 2 at home and then 1 on the road this weekend.
Yep,
so,
right.
Those first 2 home games at home, or first 2 games at home, I think that's going to really set the tempo for Sunday. Ideally, we need 4 to 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want 6. Like we need 6.
I've got you down for 6. So
okay, I like that.
we do the predictions in our weekly, and my man over here has yet to predict a loss, so he's got a lot of confidence.
I don't know why you would. Dude. There's a lot of talent on the team, and you guys do a lot of the little things right. So I love what I see. It's so fun coming out to the game. So
okay, appreciate that.
Before we let you go, is there anybody that you want to say anything to, or?
I know my mom. My mom's definitely gonna be listening to this, so I'll say hi to my mom. No, I guess I just really appreciate you guys having me here.
We appreciate you coming as well.
I'm, hopefully, the way I've played this year can help, bring me back for years after. But you take it, worrying about this season now, and I've loved the Quad Cities. I heard great things about it. One of the guys I work for, Mario Lamoureux, he used to play on the Mallards when they're in the coast for a year.
Yeah.
So I work for him back home. So
we have
a shout out to Mario for telling me this place is great, because it has been, and No, it's been a real treat. So
that's
we
great,
do
man.
have one segment left here.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I thought that was it.
No, we got one segment left here, and this is our kind of rapid fire questions to close it out here.
All right,
My bad.
Brought to you by Fourdyce Fence and Deck. This is Fourdyce Fast Ones. These are just really quick questions that we'll kind of roll through and just kind of answer them right off the bat real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Taping the stick, toe to heel or heel to toe?
I am heel. I don't go all the way to the toe.
There you go. All right, favorite away rink?
Favorite away rink, probably Huntsville.
All right, favorite QC restaurant?
I'm Hawaiian Bros.
Fastest skater on the team?
Fastest skater. Let's go. Ooh, that's tough. I'm trying to think. Let's go with Wheelan Parish.
Yep, there you go. All right, best hands?
Best hands, Leaf Matson.
Favorite musician or band?
I don't really. Morgan Wallen.
There you go.
I'm a big country guy.
Right. Most underrated player on the team?
Most underrated, I would go with. It's hard because I feel like Wheelan's still underrated, but he's
That's fair.
absolutely gifted. Like
That's a good answer.
he doesn't always get the credit he's deserved.
Absolutely. And then last one, favorite auction jersey?
Favorite auction jersey, I would go with. I like the glow in the dark ones.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Nice.
All right, that'll close that out.
Well, sorry we did that out of order. But,
No, that's all good. But again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it, Johnny.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Yep,
hey, thanks, man.
Yep, and we'll see you guys next time on the forecast. Thanks.
Take care and best of luck.